Okay, I wanted to talk today about the problem of stereotyping with this, basically with what I'm trying to do. Obviously there are certain things I'm doing which I don't feel entirely comfortable with because they feel to me like they are a parody of femininity rather than just actually being normally female, which has no essence really, I think. But, so the question is, why am I doing this? I mean, for example, walk, which is one of the things that worries me, is like this. It's actually very much easier once the junk is out of the way, but this is what it amounts to, is you don't need to avoid, so you do this. Now I don't know what this looks like. Maybe it's a very bad idea, I don't know. Here it is anyway. Not sure about that, but I do know that if I go like this, and I'm finding it rather difficult to do this now because it's become a habit to do the other thing, with this, it just looks completely ridiculous. Some people might say it looks ridiculous anyway. So, the question arises of whether this manages to create any impression of femininity, and if the femininity it doesn't create the impression of is actually advisable in any way, because clearly it does feel somewhat uncomfortable, not just because I'm not used to it, but also because it's a stereotype, and that really bothers me. However, I think that that's what you have to do, because if you don't do it this way, people are going to look at you peculiarly. I think there's basically an uncanny valley. This concept of the uncanny valley that you get between what isn't human, what is clearly not human, what is somewhat human looking but not quite human, and then what is very human. You get cutes on one side, cutesy stuff like, for example, teddy bears and so on, which are slightly human-like and so forth, and then you get into things like zombies, showroom dummies, that kind of thing, which are not quite human enough. They're sort of more human than something which is considered just completely non-human, but not quite human enough to make you feel comfortable. So they start to get associated instinctively with the likes of corpses and uncanny things, and at that point it becomes very uncomfortable. And then you creep up to the point where you get things which are very human indeed, and at that point it becomes possible to feel comfortable again. Now, I think the same thing happens with gender. You have the male gender, and obviously that's what I've been presenting as over the decades, and it's something that comes very naturally to me, and I'm probably doing it now to some extent in my speech styles and my body language, although of course I am concentrating on trying not to do that. And then you've got the stuff that's in the middle, which is androgyny, which is not definitely male or female, and at this point it starts to look ridiculous. But when it starts looking ridiculous, people with a weak sense of their identity are going to start picking on you. And that's what happens. I know it happens because I've experienced it for about 20 odd years. And that's not a good situation to be in. It's a very dangerous situation to be in. And it's not a situation I want myself to be in. So what I have to try to do is to push it further towards femininity than I would normally. So obviously women don't walk around like that all the time. Women don't always paint their nails, although I've not actually painted my nails today. Women don't always have shoulder bags and bras and leggings or tights or whatever and skirts. But they do have some of these features some of the time. And if you are clearly not very feminine, and obviously I'm not very feminine because I'm male, even though I'm taking hormones, I have to up the ante. I have to make myself seem more stereotypically feminine in order to pass. Now, I don't know whether I pass or not. That's very difficult for me to work out. But what I'm trying to do here is to basically make myself seem less uncanny, and therefore to protect myself, to make myself safe. Now, I have no idea whether that works or not. I do know that if I dress flamboyantly, people sort of laugh along with me, but if I dress in a slightly odd manner for a man, people tend to take the mickey and tend to pick on me. But this is what I've tried to do, and I'm going to present it to you, and you can make of it what you will. Obviously, you've got the shoulder bag. I get back a bit. This is going to be a bit quiet. Okay, so you've got this. I can take this off. I know I'm cutting my head off, by the way. I don't know how much difference this makes. Obviously, this, I think, is actually a dress, which has been mistaken for a t-shirt. And I take the belt off. one's less dress-like. And we've got these, which are, you know, they come with the territory basically. And so looking at me like that, if I sit down again somewhat closer to the camera than I was, I don't know, how masculine do I look? I have no idea. I can do that as well, make that look much more like a t-shirt. But I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at this. I think you have to be a very good actor sometimes. You have to think about every single piece of your body language, how you push your glasses up, that kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not saying I feel entirely comfortable with the stereotyping, but I think it's going to have to be like that, just in order not to look like a complete freak, which I'm probably going to do anyway, but it's just something I'm having to do. I'm not aiming at being attractive, I'm just aiming at being feminine. And that's it. So if you like this video, please rate, comment, share and subscribe. And if you dislike it, please tell me why, so I can improve. And I'll see you tomorrow.